Hello and welcome to day 8 of our 12 days of Christmas with Retro Gaming Revival for our countdown to Christmas 2021. And today we have got possibly the weirdest question yet. If you thought yesterday's question was odd, this one's going to be a really tough one. What Christmas song would you make into a game? So I'm looking forward to some of these answers and how these would actually be a game. And we'll start off with Blanners.
Right, well, mine would be Fairy Tale in New York, but it would be in the style of like GTA. The game's already made in like New York, so I think like with some of the lyrics, there's drunk as a tank and you cheap lousy fact that this is so yeah. So I think some so mine would be in that kind of style, like you've just come out of one of the clubs of a certain kind with and like because you can drink in them games as well. So yeah, I think that would be my go-to one.
Sounds good. That would work quite well. There was, I think it was maybe last Christmas, and there was just loads of memes being shared around because I appreciate that certain songs, certain movies, everything they don't stand the test of time when it comes to certain political correctnesses. But one of my favorite things to come out of last Christmas was memes to do with that particular song, and my favorite one that came out with it is "You scumbag, you maggot," and it just had Chung Lee versus Sagat, and anything that rhymed with that was up for grabs. And that one particularly tickled me. So I could see that game working, my mate. I'd play that as well.
Yeah, did they do a radio edit, or did they just stop playing on the radio like last year?
I think they
banned it.
Yeah, I don't know. I think it's still.
I thought I heard they banned it or something at one point, or they at least had an edit. Yeah, is it back again?
I've not seen it very often this year, to be fair. But I think it's because I'm just sick of the song. I just turn it over now if I hear
it. Yeah, I can see that working as a GTA style game though, bud. I really can.
Yeah.
Right. So, Dorbs. Sorry, I forgot for a moment. Then I was hosting.
Well, when we've done 8 evenings of this, it catches up with you eventually, doesn't it?
It does. It does. So, Dorbs, what is your Christmas song you'd make into a game?
Well, I've gone for a song that probably no one's ever heard of. It's by a band called Bad News, and the song is called "Cashing In on Christmas." And it's sort of the band is a joke basically. It's got Adrian Edmondson, Rick Mao, Nigel Planer in it, and it's basically a piss take. And it's basically the song is them at Christmas releasing a song at Christmas time, getting people to buy it and getting loads of money. Because let's face it, that's what happens to Noddy Holder every single year. 11 months of the year, he probably makes 50 quid. Come Christmas, or come December even, 500 grand. He's he's loaning it. So yeah, Bad News, Cashing on Christmas. I haven't thought too much of the game. Probably be like a Sonic style maybe, or where you just collect cash, or even just Mario, just collecting coins, but it'd be like pound coins. Cashing on Christmas by Bad News. If you haven't heard it, go and play it. It's really, really funny. And going with the retro theme, it mentions Woolworths as well. So you can't go wrong with Woolworths.
Amazing.
There you go. Brilliant. And then, so what's your one then, Ryan, for a song into a game?
Well, I would go with Last Christmas by Wham. You would play as the George Michael character, a bit like The Sims, set in a ski resort / ski lodge. The aim of the game is over the course of the weekend to make the girl fall in love with you. And many of the scenes from the film will be on it. So, the famous table scene where he does that stare. Table.
Yeah, the creepy stare.
Yeah, you can decide how to approach. There'll be options about how you stare, and depending on what you choose, the girl may like you more or may like you less. And there'll be elements of flashbacks as well. So you'll flash back to Last Christmas. The bit where he gives her the brooch. And you can decide not to do that, and that could influence things in the future.
So it sounds like sort of like Heavy Rain sort of.
Sounds like a really good game, doesn't it?
You can have different endings depending on what choice you have. I like
that. It's got replayability that has. You could go back and play that a few times.
Yeah, so that's what I would go for.
And will he have his amazing hair in the game?
He'll look exactly how he looks.
Fantastic.
But it'll be like the Sims graphics.
Yeah,
it'll be,
I love it, man.
it'll be
You
like
might you might have to tap up Stevie Ward from a stream a little while ago and see if anyone has done a Wham! Last Christmas Sims mod, because you could be
Oh,
onto something there.
Well, she'll
Yeah.
make it
Yeah.
for
She was all over the Sims as her favorite game of all time. She came up with all those
Yeah.
incredible various Sims mods. Man, you got to Dorbs, jump on it. See if anyone's done
she
a Wham!
hopefully
Last
she won't.
Christmas mod.
She won't. Hopefully won't share it at V4 because.
Going forward, dipping into our ideas.
8 days in and we're still.
Still on that. Nintendo, what is your Christmas song for game?
So I did give this a bit of thought, and there's quite a lot of Christmas songs that I do like, and there's one that I'm not overly fond of because it is played to death, but I did think it would make a very typical 16-bit Super Nintendo type game, it would be Mariah Carey's "All I Want for Christmas Is You," and it is the Christmas song that is played to absolute death. But picture a 16-bit Mariah Carey on a side-scrolling level type game where at the start she's in her Christmas suit, she doesn't know what she wants for Christmas, and the whole point of the end of the first level is to just get to the Christmas tree where all the presents are underneath it. And then basically each verse and each chorus will basically become the next level. And all you're doing is sort of imagine like the Wayne's World game, the Wayne's World platform game, where it had absolutely naff all to do with Wayne's World. All it had was drums, trumpets, and guitars. You could just have levels where there's just Christmas trees and baubles and stuff, and her just like jumping over candy canes. And the whole point is to just basically get to the end where there is a giant Christmas tree with all of her family around it, and it's just sort of like the end of Super Mario World when you get to the the woods with all the Yoshis and everybody's really happy, but instead you're just 16-bit Mariah Carey.
So instead of like
Okay.
having a gun or anything like that with the enemies, she
Mm.
could just like do that high-pitched squeal that she does and make them explode.
Yeah.
You could. She could.
Yeah.
She absolutely could, because my first theory is she could just randomly produce snowballs. She just literally have snowballs in her pocket that she'd just be throwing at enemies because snow's Christmassy. But I think that's even better. Just every now and then, just when you get to an enemy,
You could also
sends out
have-
a wave and
Amazing.
And
You
you have
know
to
what?
bash to get it higher.
yeah.
Yeah, you could have E17 as the enemies because they beat her to the UK Christmas #1 that year.
Cool.
And they could be in their white like puffer jacket things that they wore.
Well, you'll have two of them doing all the stuff and then just two in the background just dancing.
There you go.
It's not
That's
even
the
a
idea. It's got
Christmas-
legs, isn't it?
It's not even
Oh,
a
you know
Christmas
what,
song,
on
is it? It's
character-
just because it's got sleigh bells in it. Shocking.
You know what
bit.
character
The music
is pretty
video
much
was-
already at? Is Princess Peach. She's pretty much already Mariah Carey.
She could be. So
Yeah.
you could just sort of just tweak it ever so slightly, make the dress a fraction shorter, and take away the blonde hair, give her the brunette look, and because she wears a Christmassy sort of
Maybe she could jump and
negligee
float.
in the video. Exactly.
think
Yeah,
with,
just like, make a bit like
No
Doki
ideas.
Doki Panic, where she. Yeah,
Yeah, with
Yeah,
the
I'm in.
E17 song, I'm pretty sure it wasn't overly a Christmas song, but the music video is Christmassy, right? So it was like snowing and stuff.
it
Well,
was, and they had all the
originally,
bells.
Yeah, they only released it at Christmas to make some money.
Yeah.
The
Let's face it.
original video is them in like checkered shirts with like checkered hats on, singing around a piano. That's the original
Right.
video, but they never play that video. And because it
Ah.
came out at Christmas, then obviously they've got the big white puffer jackets on to make it a little bit more
They
Christmassy.
were
So there we go. Just
cashing
before
in
the
on
end,
Christmas.
just before the end boss, then you can have all members of E17 around a piano as Mariah Carey turns up,
Excellent.
and
Excellent.
your final showdown. There you go. So there
Or
we
you
go.
could have
There's
Sort of a shout off between her and Noddy Holder when he goes, "It's Christmas."
Okay, yeah. All sorts. I'm quite surprised actually. None of us have gone for like a rhythm-based music game, considering we're going from songs into games. No one's just gone for a straight-up song beat
SingStar.
game. But these are great ideas.
Yeah.
While Ryan, this isn't my answer, but while Ryan was doing his pitch of, I was thinking, right, decision-based games where you're story-driven, making decisions. You could have It's Cold Outside, and you just have to make the right choices to make so your date doesn't go home. You have to keep playing until you find the right answer. But it's cold outside. Stay here.
It's a hot
right.
water. Get out.
And if you choose the wrong option, she just leaves. And it's game over. So there you go. That's probably not an appropriate game at all. Poor song. So my answer was actually going to be Walking in the Air. And this is probably not so much a game, but it's going to be a virtual reality experience. So it's a VR game for the VR users out there, and you would be first person of the boy from this film, The Snowman, and you'd get to fly through the air with the snowman, go and have the party with this. You could look around and see all the snowmen in the party bit they go to in the North Pole, and it'd just be a visual experience where you could look around while the song
Be
"Walking in the Air"
very
is played.
cool.
Lovely.
I'd be
Very
into that
cool.
as
Yeah,
well.
nice and
That's
Christmas.
I
beautiful.
like it.
Amazing.
I do like it.
Some good suggestions.
Just before we do sign off, just purely, it's not game related at all, but they're just two videos that absolutely floor me every year at Christmas, and I always share them in various group chats. There's a mix-up of, is it Wizard that do are you hanging up your stocking on the
Yeah.
wall? Is that Wizard?
Or Slade.
Slade.
No, it's
Slade,
Slade, isn't it?
Sorry,
Wizard
Slade.
is
Slade
Wizard's
and
the other
Wizard.
one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So Slade, there's someone who's done an edit of the Slade song where all they say is, "Are you hanging up your stocking on the wall?" That is the only lyric in the whole song, and it absolutely floors me for 2.5 minutes. So there you go. Go and check that out over the actual song for Slade for Christmas, because it's much
All
funnier.
right, we'll do that.
Good stuff.
And that leads us on to say next week, tomorrow, 12
Next
days
week?
of Christmas. 12
Right.
days of Christmas, day 9. And what will we be discussing tomorrow? What games character would you like to read a Christmas speech? So we hear from the Queen every year. What games character do we think we would like to hear from instead on Christmas? So join us again tomorrow and find out our answers. Until then, Merry Christmas, everybody.
Merry Christmas.